Hello, my love, and welcome back to the Behind the Layers podcast, the podcast where I help soft women like you and me return back to deep inner confidence. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Mel, and I'm a confidence coach. And today's episode, to be honest, it is something I really needed to hear when I was younger, because I used to be more of a quiet, introverted, shy kid. And I always felt like I needed to be more or louder or more extroverted to be good enough. And this messed with my mental health and my self esteem so much because I just never felt good just being me. And if that resonates with you, this episode might heal you just a little bit. But before we dive into today's topics, I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who showed love for the last episode I posted because I just returned to posting podcasts again, and it truly means the world to me that you take your time and DM me how much you loved the episode or what you learned from the episode. I love to read it. So thank you so much. And this also reminds me of the fact that sometimes you just need to be a beginner. When I started this podcast almost 13 episodes ago, I had no clue what I was doing. And to be honest, I'm still figuring it out. However, I allowed myself to be a beginner. I allowed myself to figure it out along the way. And if you have listened to the first episode of this podcast, it was called Mastering the Art of Being a Beginner. And this is exactly what I talked about, that you need to be okay being a beginner. You need to be okay being quote unquote bad at things before you can allow yourself to be good. Because to be honest, when I started with that first episode, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't listen to podcasts except from the very scientific, straight to the point research podcasts. But those are so different than the more casual podcasts like this. So I really had no clue what I was doing, but I allowed myself to just start and be seen trying. And then look at me now. I'm getting better one episode at a time. I'm much more comfortable. I have a cute little setup now. And I don't know, the feedback from your guys actually shows so much how much it has improved because there was this one DM that I got. I don't remember from who it was, but she basically shared that she really felt like a friend was talking to her. And that's exactly what I wanted to create for such a long time and struggled to create because I had no idea how to bring that love towards the podcast, how to share it with you, but I'm getting better. So just wanted to give a big thank you and also a little bit of a reminder to do new things. Be a beginner, suck at it. And if you need a little bit more support on that, go listen to the first episode of this podcast right after this one. But for today, we're going to talk about loud confidence versus quiet confidence. And this is specifically for the women who don't really resonate with the confident image of being loud and extroverted, and rather want to find a type of confidence that feels authentic to them. So, for today, I'm going to explain what is loud confidence, what is quiet confidence, and what is the confidence that you actually need. I will give you the paradox between these two because there is a very interesting paradox going on. I will give 5 main takeaways for this podcast, and then I will teach you how to build the right type of confidence for yourself. So stick till the end so I can give you those tips as well. And very quickly, if you have questions or something is coming up in this podcast, just leave it in the comments and then I will get back to you there. But for now, let's redefine how confidence looks like, especially for the soft, quiet women amongst us. So, as I shared already a little bit, is that growing up, I was more on the quiet side, more on the introverted side. And I always felt like something was wrong with me. To be confident, I also needed to take up the space that other people were doing and be as loud and be that much in the center of attention. And as I said, that really fucked with my mental health. So I did this really messed up thing. every year. Looking back at it now, it feels insane to me. But at the end of every school year, I would look back and kind of pick myself apart of what I didn't like about myself that year and change it for the next year. So I remember eventually I had a very quiet year, but I was also a little bit of a quiet person. And I just started thinking that people would find me boring, uninteresting, because I was just so quiet, like I almost disappeared and people would not like me. So, what did I do the following year? Is I made a plan for myself to be more out there and to push myself to be something that I was not. So, I started taking up more space, I got more attention, I was more loud. And then at the end of that year, I reflected and I realized, ooh, that didn't feel good. I actually felt like I was oversharing. I felt a little bit cringe and I felt like I was too much. And in a way, I was too much because I was performing. I was not myself. And I don't believe that your natural state of being can ever be too much, but I do believe you can become too much the moment you start performing. The same as a person can never be too little unless they start hiding who they are. So, in that way, I felt too little when I wasn't too little because I was just me, and now I became too much, which I likely also was because it wasn't authentic to myself. And here is the thing that I didn't realize back then that I think would have saved me a lot of confidence struggles along the way. And that is true confidence doesn't require you to become someone else or someone you're not. It just requires you to own who you are, whether that be loud or that be quiet. Real confidence is just about how you feel. It is an internal feeling, not an external facade. So it doesn't even matter how you are showing up to the outside world because confidence has nothing to do with that. It has to do with how you're feeling about yourself. And the moment I realized this was years along the line, it really opened the gateways for the main thing that was going on, the main question that would eventually help me to build the unshakable confidence I have now. And that was that the question was not whether I should show up in a certain way. The question was, why do I not love or like being myself? What do I find wrong with myself? And the moment I started healing those beliefs in the way that I saw myself, because spoiler alert, I didn't see myself in a very positive light. My self image was incredibly negative. And the moment I started healing that, that is when the feeling I was chasing by trying to be someone else actually came to me. By healing how I felt about myself, I started showing up with confidence because I finally felt confidence. You cannot gain confidence by becoming someone you're not. I will say it again, you cannot gain confidence by becoming someone you're not. What you need to do is heal the things within yourself that are blocking you from feeling that right now. So, what is quiet confidence? What is loud confidence? So, in general, I would describe loud confidence as more high energy, once again, more loud, more attention centered, more extroverted, sometimes more social, and in a way, really showing off the confidence. Then you have quiet confidence, which is more calm, it's more grounded. And the main thing that quiet confidence has is that it's not performative. It doesn't try to be something or someone that it's not. And here's the interesting paradox between the two. In society, most often, we feel that the loud people are the most confident and the quiet people are the most insecure. But that's the paradox. It's the other way around. Oftentimes, insecurity is loud, and oftentimes, confidence is quiet. And a really great example for this when you're growing up is the bullies, people that bully you. They appear so confident, right? They are more loud, they're more in the center of attention, they are very assertive, quote unquote, in their bullying. Not the best experience, I know, but they appear confident when we are growing up. And then when you actually grow up and you look at it from an adult perspective, you realize, oh, whoa, the people who were bullying were never confident. They were actually really insecure because no person that feels good about themselves is going to harm others. So there was some sort of rejection, insecurity, wound in them to be able to portray that behavior towards you. So while loud confidence might seem as a true confidence, oftentimes it's the other way around. And there's this very simple quote I want to read for you, and that is: insecurity is loud, confidence is quiet. True confidence manifests in calm, measured behavior, while insecurity often reveals itself through attention seeking actions or overcompensation. So that paradox is so incredibly interesting because it's easy to look up to people who are loud and assertive, and really in the center of attention and be like, oh, I need to be more like them. But what if their loudness comes from insecurity? Why on earth will we need to become more like them? And also, if you're not a loud person in essence, confidence is not becoming them. Confidence is you staying yourself and loving who you are and not performing, once again, being non performative. And also for me, this used to fuck with my brain because I would look at all these people and also feel like, oh, I need to be more like them. While true confidence was just me being myself and actually being grounded in that. And I also feel like it's very normal to grow up and be a little bit uncertain in who you are and how you should act. I think the journey towards the authentic self is a journey back home, and often it happens during teenage years, right? Because as a kid, we grow up the first few years and we are authentic. We are ourselves. And then we get all these rules, all these layers of traumas and experiences and beliefs, and we stop being our authentic selves. And because we feel so unsafe in ourselves and we already don't truly sometimes feel good as we are, we start to look at the outside world, trying to find who we need to be in the outside world, while we're not realizing it's just a journey back home. We need to get back to our authentic selves. And that is when the confidence will come, but also stick. Because the moment you start performing, the moment you start performing to be someone else, maybe you will feel a little bit confident in the beginning, but you cannot keep up that performance. And eventually you will break character. And when you break character, you're back at square one. And that is why it's so important to find your way of confidence. And we're going to speak about that in a bit. But one thing I do want to mention is, while it's really interesting to finally realize that not all loudness is confidence and not all quietness is insecurity, we also need to realize that it's not a one rule fits all. So the quote said, insecurity is loud, confidence is quiet, but not all loud people are insecure, and not all quiet people are confident. There are exceptions to the rule. And I think the main thing that dictates if these people are confident is the level of performing they're doing. If they are loud, but they're not performing, they're not covering up any insecurities, then that's just who they are. That's their confident essence. The same with quiet people. If they are truly that quiet and they're not hiding themselves or afraid of attention, then that is who they truly are. So I think the main essence of confidence isn't always whether it's loud or quiet, but most importantly, it's about if it's performative. Are you performing to be something or someone you are not? And the journey towards confidence is just a journey to learning to stop performing. So let's go over 5 different takeaways for loud and quiet confidence. And the first one really is for the quiet people out there. And that is that loud confidence keeps introverts from building confidence. Mostly if they think that is what confidence is. And you would be stunned by the amount of people that think confidence is loud and extroverted, or sometimes even arrogant. Because I work with people one-on-one to build confidence. And most often I work with people with social anxiety or people who are really introverted. And the amount of times I speak to people that share with me that they want more confidence, they want to feel better about themselves, but they always say, but I don't want to become super arrogant, or I don't want to become overly confident. And when I ask them, okay, what is overly confident? They would say, like, yeah, just being really loud or being like really extroverted. Like those types of things would always come up. It's like people want confidence, but they don't want the loud confidence. And they feel like that is the confidence, the only confidence that exists. Like they are so afraid to become arrogant because they feel like that is what confidence is. But it's not. As an introvert, you can build different types of confidence. And this is not to say that all loud confidence is arrogant, of course. So, for the first point, if you are a more soft spoken soul, if you are more introverted, if you are more quiet, don't let the idea of what confidence looks like and that does not align with you hold you back from tapping into your inner confidence, because that will look different. That will feel better than the confidence that you are rejecting deep down. Which leads me to takeaway number 2, and that is that arrogance will never become confidence. It will never be confidence. Arrogance is, as people sometimes would describe it, as being overly confident and not even delusional. I don't think delusion is arrogance, but arrogance is being so full of yourself that you sometimes feel like you're better than others, or you don't actually pay attention to others because the only thing you're paying attention to is you and your greatness, if that makes sense. So that often stems from insecurity, because true confidence also makes space for others. It's okay sharing space, and it's also okay being humble. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to say how great it is all the time, because it is great and it knows that. That's true confidence. The moment you need to show how great you are, the kind of the arrogance, that is rooted in insecurity, because apparently you need validation, or apparently you need to repeat it to yourself how great you are for you to believe it. So for the people who out there who don't want to grow arrogant, no worries. If you're on your confidence journey, you won't become arrogant because you're actually healing the insecurities that would cause arrogance. Coming to point number 3, and that is that loud confidence can burn people out. If you are not a loud person in general, and you feel like you need to be a loud person, so you start performing, you can burn yourself out because you are overextending yourself, and you will start to feel like an imposter because you're not who you truly are. So anxiety can increase, and you can even start to feel like identity confusion, because once again, you feel like you need to act like a certain person while you're not that person. And this will burn you out because you cannot perform your entire lifetime. That's why it's so powerful to get to your true self and live a life that is in alignment with your authentic self, because you won't burn out in a life of authenticity, because you're not pretending. You're not putting energy in something that is not you. And I'm so excited for this. I am launching this course, Return to Inner Confidence, and the first 4 modules are all about building inner confidence. The final module is, the moment you have the confidence after those modules, is to build a life in alignment with your new confident self. Because it's so powerful to live in alignment with yourself, because you'll be doing much more, much bigger things, while not putting in the amount of energy that you would need to put in if you were performing, if that makes sense. So, loud confidence can burn people out, but the moment you live in alignment with your authentic self, you can create the most magical life you can ever imagine without having to put in insane amounts of work. So, if you're interested in that, I will leave the link for the waitlist for that down below. And one final thing I want to say about getting yourself in burnout with loud confidence: it's really easy to fall into that trap, because it's so easy to look at people, especially in social media, and be like, oh, I need to be like them because they seem to be doing well and getting attention and getting love, and they're really loud. And to be honest, in the beginning of my journey on social media, I even had that. I saw all these people sharing with kind of a loudness behind them. And I don't mean that they're insecure, just in general, more loudness, more extroverted people, people that share more about their lives. And I thought, like, I needed to be like them. I didn't. I did not need to be like them, because if I would, I wouldn't have been able to continue posting, because eventually the act of performing would have become too much for me. And that is why it's so incredibly important, once again, to create a life out of authenticity, because you cannot keep on that performance. Which also leads me to point number 4, and that is, if you're a lot on social media, there is this type of illusion of loud confidence on social media, because in general, the people that are on there that are sharing their lives all the time, those are people who like the center of attention. Those are people, the majority of the time, who are more extroverted and more loud. And if you are on social media a lot of the times, you can feel like, oh my God, everybody is so confident, everybody is so loud, I need to be loud. You don't have to be. There are people who have more quiet confidence on the platforms as well, and I encourage you to find them. My page is one of them. And in real life, there aren't that many super loud people. The majority of the people are more grounded and calm, but the moment you spend too much time on social media, you might feel like, so many people are loud, I need to be loud. And the final point I want to make is that if you have quiet confidence, that actually builds a lot of respect as well. Because quiet confidence gives the space for others to take up attention and to listen to others and make others feel seen, because we are so grounded in ourselves that we don't need the eyes on us the whole time. We actually make others feel seen, and that brings respect. And I always feel like with quiet confidence, you can really count on those people, because the energy is always really stable. And you know, with people with quiet confidence, that they will never do things that they don't want to do. They won't perform with you either. So that brings so much trust, and trust brings respect. So by now in this episode, I hope you feel a little bit more seen. I hope I've given you some ideas to think about, because this is sometimes a little bit more like philosophy. Like, there are so many different types of confidence and how they work together and how people show up. And I don't want you to take every word that I say as like, oh, that's how it should be. I want you to take my words and think about them, because you make your truth. I cannot tell you what is right or wrong. I can just make you think about what is right and wrong. So, finally, how can you build the type of confidence that is authentic to you? The first step is to stop pretending. Stop performing things that you are not. And this means, don't say yes when you want to say no. Don't change your opinion to be liked. Don't act happy when you are low in energy. Stop performing to be liked, and then notice, who are you really? Are you really that extroverted? Or if you actually listen to your energy, you would like some more me time. And you stop fearing the fear of missing out and actually enjoy being by yourself, for example. So stop pretending, stop performing, and notice who you are when nobody is watching. Secondly, heal the parts of yourself that are rejecting yourself, the parts of yourself that want you to perform, the parts of yourself that want you to hide out of fears, fear of being disliked, fear of not being good enough, fear of or wanting to be someone else. There are beliefs behind those. Often case, this is the self-image. Those are the beliefs about yourself. And if we have a lot of insecurities and not knowing who we are or who we need to be, likely there is a negative belief somewhere in the self-image that we can heal. So find that belief and heal it. And a final step is to embody what your true self would do in any given situation where you normally would abandon yourself, hide yourself, or overperform. What would the most comfortable, confident, true version of yourself do? And for some people, that is taking up space, while for others, it's actually taking a step back or making a little joke or bringing up a conversation. Like, this helped me so much in healing my social anxiety to go from social anxiety to unshakably confident. An amazing tool that I used was just to embody my confident self whenever I was struggling. So I would do this whenever I was going to the supermarket. With my social anxiety, I already found it scary to go to the supermarket, stand alone, talk to people there. But I just started embodying my confident self, and I would go in there alone. And I realized, oh, my confident self, she actually makes jokes with these people. So I started joking around with the cashier. And in those moments, of course, first it's scary because you're not used to it. But the more you embody that confident version of yourself, the more authentic you will also start to feel. So, those are the 3 steps. I will repeat them once more. First, stop proving yourself, stop performing, and just sit in that discomfort, just being yourself. 2, heal the parts of yourself that believe you should be something different. And finally, embody what your true self would do in any situation you normally struggle with your confidence in. So, if you loved this episode, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a positive review on Spotify and you leave a little heart in the comments so I can personally thank you. And a little heads up, I believe in last episode, I already said that Return to Inner Confidence, my program to build unshakable confidence, would come out this week, I believe, but it's actually coming out next week. And it's only coming out for the waitlist only with the lowest price ever. I truly think it's insane that I'm giving it away for such a low price point, but I just want to thank the people on the waitlist. They have been waiting for some time because I have been sharing about this program, I think, for 6 months. It's way too long. I know. I'm so sorry. But right now, it's really, really coming. So if you want to get access to it, get yourself on the wait list. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Sending you much love, and I will see you next Tuesday.